Welcome to Amir Shakil 5858 War and Love Reports. I am Amir Goodman. Welcome to Amir Shakil 5858 The War and Love Report. I am Amir Goodman.
Survivors on Maui spent another day picking up the pieces more than a week after wildfires devastated parts of the island. The confirmed death toll now stands at 111 people, even as rescue crews work to find more of the missing. Donation centers have been set up to distribute food, clothing, and other essential supplies, and to offer encouragement in the wake of such devastating loss. Director of Maui Cultural Center said that people are telling us, get out of here. The air is not good. The water is not good. It's like, but people that lost their clothes, their cars, people that lost everything, and they are living in neighbors' houses or whatever they need. We need to be close to them so they can come and get supplies. Crews have searched roughly 40% of the disaster areas so far. Hawaii's governor estimates that over 1,000 people are still unaccounted for. Wildfire have also burned a widespread area in Canada's Northwest Territories. A mass evacuation is underway in Yellowknife, the region's capital city and home to some 20,000 people, as a blaze burns about 10 miles away. Residents sped past burnt forest and heavy plumes of smoke as they fled from the fire's path. The city's mayor warned that the window to safety evacuees is shrinking. Let's hear Mayor of Yellowknife, Rebecca LT.
There is a possibility that without rain, the fire reaches the outskirts of Yellowknife by the weekend. It is approaching, but there's time to complete the community evacuation. It's being called now so that we can allow people the opportunity to drive while the highway is open. Conditions will be smoky, and residents should drive with caution and care.
There are more than 200 active wildfires are burning in the Northwest Territories and over 1,000 across all of Canada. Monsoon rains have pummeled northern India for days now as residents scramble for safety from the resulting floods and landslides. At least 72 people have died. In Shimla, video captured the moment an entire section of cliff broke off and toppled down a mountainside, taking several homes with it. Crews have rescued over 2,000 people by digging through the Himalayan terrain or airlifting people from the floodwaters. In, in Pakistan, authorities have arrested more than 100 Muslims following a round of attacks on Christian churches and homes. A mob stormed the town of Jaranwala overnight, angered by an alleged desecration of a Quran. Most Christian residents were able to escape, but they returned to find their property vandalized and destroyed. Police patrolled the streets to try and prevent more violence. Azim, a Pakistani Christian, said, quote, "Look at our houses, look at our churches, look at our streets. If someone did wrong, arrest him. Why are our houses and churches being burned? It was one person mistake, and they burned all the churches in Jaranwala. Why did they destroy these poor people's homes? Where will they stay? They lost everything. No casualties were reported. Christians make up about 2% of Pakistan's population. More than 60 people are feared dead after a ship carrying mostly Senegalese migrants capsized in the Atlantic Ocean. Rescuers searched the waters near the island of Cape Verde of West Africa. They have rescued dozens, but more than 50 others are still missing. The boat left Senegal last week, carrying about 100 people en route to Spain. On Wall Street, Dow Jones Industrial lost 291 points, Nasdaq lost 158 points, and S&P 500 slipped 34 points. Tomorrow, President Biden will host a summit at Camp David with the leaders of Japan and South Korea, two nations with a long, complicated history. But they, along with the United States, share common goals: curbing China's influence in the region and addressing threats from North Korea. Tomorrow's summit will deal with military cooperation, the sharing of intelligence, and technology. NBC reports that FBI is arresting police officers in Northern California in Bay Area for criminal conduct. Let's hear Aaron McLaurin of NBC.
Lester, in what the Antioch mayor is calling a dark day for the city this morning, the FBI arrested a number of officers in a series of raids across the East Bay, the product of an 18-month investigation into alleged criminal conduct by at least 9 law enforcement officers from Antioch and Pittsburgh, including racist texts discovered on seized cell phones. According to court documents unsealed just now, the officers have been charged in 4 separate federal indictments, charges ranging from the deprivation of rights and conspiracy to wire fraud. One 30-page indictment points to disturbing communications, including an officer who bragged that his police canine bit at least 28 people. The officers have yet to enter a plea. Lester?
And alarming news that Russia has supplied North Korea with a new missile that could evade US missile defenses and hit multiple American targets. Andrea Mitchell of NBC says,
according to a new study from Beyond Parallel, reported first by NBC News, this new North Korean missile, tested in July, is nearly identical in appearance and trajectory data to a Russian missile that can penetrate U.S. missile defenses and carry multiple warheads as far as here in Washington. 2 weeks after that test, Russia's defense minister met with Kim Jong-un in North Korea to further cement their ties. Russia was already helping North Korea with energy and food, and North Korea has been providing Russia weapons for Ukraine. All this will be part of tomorrow's Camp David summit, when President Biden hosts the leaders of South Korea and Japan to discuss the growing threats in the region.
a report on Russia's exploration beyond the moon by Tom Costello of NBC.
Now orbiting the moon, Luna 25 is Russia's first robotic lunar mission in nearly 50 years. Russia never landed cosmonauts on the moon, but within days, Luna will be the first probe to land on the moon's south side, working to confirm the presence of frozen water, which could one day be used for rocket fuel. The head of Russia's space agency says the moon could be the launching pad to explore distant planets, including Mars.
Russia has just launched a probe to land on the South Pole.
NASA Chief Bill Nelson says that ice is why the U.S. plans to land Artemis astronauts in 2025. But China is also aiming for the pole.
I don't want China to get to the South Pole first with humans and then say, this is ours, stay out.
Is this starting to feel real?
That's real. That's it. It's starting to feel very, very real.
At the Kennedy Space Center, the Artemis 2 astronauts, the first crew who will orbit the moon since Apollo, have now inspected the Orion spaceship that will take them there next year.
We're all smiles, of course. It's pretty inspiring moment.
NASA's goal, similar to what Russia and China are planning. Ultimately, NASA wants to create an Artemis base camp on the moon. and use that to go to Mars.
Tom, I think the space race is really between us and China, and we need to protect the interest of the international community.
Nelson insists the U.S. would never lock out others, but the new space race is accelerating.
California governor says he is tripling highway patrol resources in Los Angeles to crack down on the recent string of smash and grab robberies at retail stores. It comes as the city announced it is forming a task force. Now a report by Antonio Hilton of NBC.
Today, a major step forward to help fight brazen crimes like these in Los Angeles, where scenes of smash and grab robberies have become all too familiar. Most recently at Nordstrom's, where a mob used bear spray to disarm security.
These are not victimless crimes.
The mayor of Los Angeles announcing a retail crimes task force is now in effect, focused on thieves but also on the getaway drivers and resellers.
Our message is clear. Those who commit these crimes will be caught.
It's part of a troubling nationwide trend. 8 in 10 retailers have reported increased incidents of violence and aggression this year. Rachel Michelin is CEO of the California Retailers Association.
It feels a little bit like we're under assault.
Experts say for every robbery seen at major retailers, there's a small business getting hit too. Retailers now demanding lawmakers increase consequences.
Do you think this new task force will have an effect? I'm hopeful that it will have an impact, but candidly, I don't think anything will truly change until we're willing to have those difficult decisions about how do we change some of the policies on our books.
Just 2 days ago, several stores here on Rodeo Drive were hit, and incidents like these are costing retailers billions of dollars. Retailers warn consumers will pay the price too.
They will see prices go up. They will see stores close. And I don't think any of us want to see that happening.
Antonia Hilton, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Now weather by Chris of Weather Channel.
Good evening, Nora. And new this evening, the National Hurricane Center now saying that Hurricane Hillary is up to a major hurricane, a 120-mile-per-hour Category 3 hurricane. And by tomorrow, it could be a Category 4 hurricane on its way up past Mexico toward the west coast of the United States, San Diego to Los Angeles. The strongest it possibly could be. Looks like maybe a tropical storm, but the main threat here is and will be a heavy rain, possible flood threat here. It's able to get up there in part because of this big area of high pressure that, Nora, is bringing some more extreme heat to the southern plains.
According to CBS, the suspected mastermind of the September 11 terror attacks, along with 4 other defendants, could escape the death penalty under a plea agreement being considered. Let's hear a report by Scott MacFarlane of CBS about this.
For families
families who lost loved ones on 9/11, it's been an excruciating wait for the trial of suspected mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 4 other accused plotters.
It's more heartbroken.
There's now fresh outrage for Kristen Breitweiser, whose husband died in the World Trade Center after the Pentagon sent this letter to families revealing plea deals are being considered in which the 5 men would accept criminal responsibility for their actions and plead guilty in exchange for not receiving the death penalty.
I thought I lived in the United States of America. I thought we were a nation based upon the rule of law, and obviously that's turned out not to be the case.
The prosecutions of the 9/11 defendants in Guantanamo Bay held in military tribunals have been delayed for years, mainly complicated by the CIA's interrogation of the suspects that critics called torture, and whether the evidence extracted is admissible in court.
Mr. Alvarez.
A defense lawyer for one of the accused plotters told CBS's Catherine Herridge last year a plea deal would end the impasse.
She is willing to plead guilty, serve a long sentence at Guantanamo in exchange for medical care for his torture and taking the death penalty off the table.
That doesn't satisfy Brad Blakeman, who lost his nephew Tommy Jerkin in the World Trade Center.
We were told and we were promised that we would bring these people responsible to justice, and we expect that to happen.
Through the years, there have been proposals to move the trials from military tribunals to civilian court, but that idea faced stiff resistance in Congress, worried about the security and the costs of moving cases out of.
A judge in Mississippi declared a mistrial today in the case against 2 white men accused of chasing and shooting at a black FedEx driver. The judge said he had no choice because of a police detective's improper testimony and failure to share evidence. The father and son are charged with attempted murder. The FedEx driver was not hurt. No word yet on when the trial will begin, rather retrial. Gas prices and mortgage rates are increasing according to Nora O'Donnell of CBS.
Gas prices are creeping up again. We'll explain why next. In tonight's Money Watch, gas prices are back on the rise. AAA says a gallon of regular is averaging $3.87. That's actually up a nickel from last week and more than 30 cents higher than a month ago. AAA says prices at the pump are being driven up by the threat of hurricanes and severe heat. And there's this, long-term mortgage rates jumped this week to over 7% and are now at the highest level in 21 years. It's bad news for home buyers already facing high prices and a shortage of available homes.
Thank you for watching and privilege of your time. This is Army Shakil 5858. I am Amir Budna.